这周上新的叫勘探酒馆，但是这个勘探酒馆，也就是先驱者酒吧，就是现实里的先驱者酒吧 Pioneer Saloon， 就是新维加斯里那个酒吧。他现实里的真名，那个圣地巡礼的 vlog， 我之前给大家发过了。非常的像和游戏里。但是它这个酒它天花板也是一样的。大家注意到天花板上那个特别的方块花纹没有？因为在现实里的先驱者酒馆上面就是这个花纹，地板就是这个地板，大概的布局都差不多的，就是清泉镇的那个酒吧。进游戏看看。先崩了几个尸鬼，把这个地方占下来。看一下，酒吧壁灯、酒吧台子，这些东西都是可以吸附的，这个还不错，这样建起来就很容易了。看一下背面，背面也是有格子的。然后灯。有这种灯，这种灯可以很漂亮的放在，怎么还穿了？反正不管。还有天花板上的灯，这样子的灯。但是那个整体建筑呢？那是个避难所是吧？那好像是个避难所。怪不得这里不能建。来看一下这儿，哎，为什么新物品加载不出来 ？bug 了又。啊，我知道了，这个 bug， 朋友们，如果你有这个 bug 的话。我知道是怎么回事，就是现在很严重的这个 bug。如果你的 camp， 大家注意我这个 camp 没有，如果你的这个 camp 上了皮肤的话，恭喜你，你就见不了任何东西了。就是有2个皮肤，一个是掠夺者皮肤，一个是居民皮肤，之前废土克出的。 你看我是这个居民皮肤，你也换不掉的问题是，你没法替换的，就只要你看不是这个东西，你就什么都见不了了。现在非常严重的一个 bug， 所以我现在在 camp 里就是什么都见不了的。这个，但是我没有别的办法，我到我别的 camp 栏位去。这个地方反正我也没见啥，是吧？然后我把这个换。那我这是这算啥呀？糟糕，我根本就不记得这个在哪里了。吉他 ，no， M， 6帧。这真不好找。石油。根本找不到。Camp 装置。大家看到没有？居民 camp、掠夺者 camp， 这俩玩意。但是我都我现在没有装备，但是我以前装备过，是吧？它这个都没有按照分类来分。那我现在装备的是啥呀？我就干脆就什么都别装备，反正因为我建之前那个 camp 的时候肯定是装备了，现在没装备，所以你看，对。后来建的这些 camp 就没有那个皮肤，这个就是原版皮肤嘛，所以原版皮肤就可以建。但如果你建的是之前的，你就倒霉了，我靠。不过，我这个酒馆怎么给我？我们就随便在这放一下看看。他能把我卡里面。他把我卡里面了。反正外面我猜应该和新维加斯那个酒馆一模一样，没错，大家看，是吧？和新维加斯那个一模一样。新维加斯里面就是把先驱者酒馆改成了这个叫勘探者酒馆嘛，原世界里叫 Pioneer Saloon， 这个就和新维加斯那个一模一样，就这个。因为它内部空间其实是一个避难所。但是说实话，要是不是避难所就好。当然，你也说实话是才更好，因为是避难所的话，它的预算是单独的，你可以在里面狠狠的装饰。我甚至可以试着完全还原现实里的那个 摆满了辐射周边的样子。如果是和你 camp 一体的话，你想，那你那个预算就是重叠的。那你像我那种 camp 就什么都见不了。所以虽然我们要加载进来一下，但是好处就是，预算再度清零。预算再度清零，我们就可以重建新维加斯的这个。啊，它带的和新维加斯的布局是完全一样，完全一样。你说新维加斯现在出个重置，新维加斯要是出个重置，啊，就是这个样子。当然很可惜，这还是 Creation 1引擎啊。你要说重置的话，大家肯定期望你用星空的 Creation 2引擎来做。76这个 Creation 1引擎的最后一代作品，说实话，画质上也并不算好。所以虽然比新维加斯要好，但也没有所以光照肯定是要好很多很多倍。但说实话，材质贴图啊还真不一定，因为76的材质比辐射4还要再糊。辐射4还有 4K 贴图包，76的贴图是非常非常非常糊的，76的材质全都是糊的，你开再高也没有用，可能是因为网游的原因之类的。反正就是76的画面基本是乍一看还不错，细看就不行的这么一个级别。不过你要是回去看一下新维加斯原版，你会发现啊，那提升还是蛮大的。我倒是不介意，如果出一个这种级别的新维加斯复刻，画面上我没什么大意见，我说实话。这就是这次的原子商店。这更新还更出了个 bug。接下来就只有赛季日常的东西了，打打赛季，听听电台。
Attention to detail. We learned that Bud Askins has communicated with the new overseers of Vault 33 and 32 because both Betty and Stephanie know that Norm is in prison there. You see Norm?
Norm has been sent for a leadership exchange program for Vault 31.
Just I feel really bad because I didn't know about the trailer for season 2. I said that Norm looks really good. He must have been working out. But we find out in this episode that he actually lost a ton of weight because he has eaten through all of the provisions that he has found in something very important about Luke's 33, 32, and 31's Reclamation Day wasn't some arbitrary date on the calendar. No, their Reclamation Day was when there was nobody left on the surface. doors to his vault and reclaim the wasteland is if there's no one left alive. And that's what he destroyed Shady Sands. But Askins is revealing here that he knows that he's spoken about that no one left alive on the surface wrong, which is why he's not allowing his vaults to open their doors. He has to sterilize the surface first. We discover a new vault. Vault 24. 24 was originally intended to be in Fallout New Vegas, but it was cut from the game. In the Fallout show, we learned that the experiment of Vault 24 was to use some of the chips designed by House to control and brainwash people. Lucy and the Ghoul find the bodies of people being indoctrinated with communist propaganda. I don't know if we'll revisit Vault 24 later on in this series, but I feel like there's more to the story here. Is very familiar with Vault-Tec vaults because, as we learned in this episode, he's been searching every vault he stumbles upon looking for his family.
There are a lot of vaults.
Every time I step foot on these concrete shoeboxes,
When they did, we were given the impression that the infection was something that they're actively trying to avoid.
Nothing wrong with it. Was there
His band, it was still fairly common.
it's not your fault. It's were or are related. What were you involved? Change that. No, the rules are good. Those are the products that go back.
Disdain for anyone living on the surface, which makes sense given what we now know about him. Everyone on the surface has to die. Ghoul and Lucy follow a trail of human bodies while tracking Hank. The trail leads them to the brainwashing chip. He brainwashes this man into telling her to stop searching for him and to go to Vault 33.
I fix everything. Go.
Of course, she doesn't, because he's hurting people and she has to stop that, but it tells us that Hank hasn't given up on his daughter yet. He makes it to New Vegas and he finds some sort of central vault-type facility. We don't know what this is, but it appears to be like a hub of Vault-Tec activity, at least in the Los Angeles area, possibly regionally or at this facility, Hank learns that Vault-Tec had been working on the brain control chip that we saw House use earlier in the episode, to get it smaller and smaller and smaller, till it was virtually undetectable. Here Hank gets cleaned up, even dons a gold-tinted Pip-Boy. I don't think it's the Pip-Boy 3 billion. It doesn't appear to be bejeweled. Just gold. The most interesting thing about this scene is he sends out a message to somebody, and in this message we learn more about his motivations. He says that he's reporting for duty, but we don't get the impression that he's reporting to Vault-Tec. He describes Vault-Tec as a sort of third party. He mentions that he's snuck into this place, and he found it abandoned, which is a weird thing to say if you're trying to communicate to somebody who still runs Vault-Tec.
This is Hank McLean, reporting for duty, sir. Nobody in Vault-Tec knows I'm here.
He doesn't name the person that he's talking to. At one point, he describes the person he's leaving the message to as someone who likes calculating.
You spent so much time calculating how to survive all possible contingencies.
Which made me think of the calculator from Fallout Tactics. But the calculator was just an advanced computer. That didn't make any sense. And then Hank mentions that he's in the ruins of Las Vegas, which used to be the stomping ground of whomever he's sending this message to.
In Vegas, place back in your stomping grounds, actually.
This leads us to believe that he might be sending the message to House. He talks about the mind control chip as his Vault experiment.
Trying to pick up where you all left off. Looks like a couple of the Vault experiments ran into some speakers. I'm confident that if I just roll up my sleeves, I can bring it all home.
could this be what Robert House used one of the vaults for?
We have over 100 vaults, enough for each of you to claim several. Whatever you want to do, no one needs to know.
It promises that he'll finish this experiment, and when he does, whoever he's talking to will be so indebted to him that they'll give Hank the world.
I'm gonna complete the work.
He is telling me that might be a red herring. I wonder who Hank is really talking to. The bombshell, though, is that Hank was working for someone else besides Vault-Tec, presumably House. Or if the House thing is a red herring, could it be the Enclave? As the episode pans out, we get a wonderful shot of Grim. We see the Bison Steve, the Mojave Express, and a ruined NCR flag. Well, this tells us a little bit about Grim. During the events of New Vegas, the courier can do a quest called My Kind of Town, where he has to find a new sheriff for the town of Grim. There are 4 different choices, one of which is Sergeant McGee of the NCR.
Sergeant McGee will take over as sheriff and the Rangers will be his deputies. This town will be in NCR territory.
If we convince the NCR to look after Grim, they annex the town and reallocate some soldiers to defend it, and Sergeant McGee becomes the new sheriff. Now, from this pan-out sequence, I at least get the impression that that was what the courier chose, if we find NCR flags hanging from the town of Grim. But we don't see any people in Grim. We don't see Grim Slim in Grim. We don't see anyone going to the casino. Something must have happened to the NCR in Grim as a consequence to the people who lived here. Finally, at the end of the episode, when they give us some snippets of what to look forward to, we learn conclusively that not only is there a civil war going on with the Maxon's Brotherhood. Lots of questions. Is Arthur Maxon still in charge of the Commonwealth Brotherhood? Whose side does he on? And as an aside, I noticed that in a few more flashbacks, you see airship, and it looks identical to the Pridwin, to the airships flown by the Brotherhood of Steel, which takes away a little bit from the uniqueness of the Pridwin having been built from the scrap of the mobile base crawler, but it does help explain why so many Zeppelins being used by the Brotherhood all look the same. There were just 3 more models built on an assembly line. That's everything I noticed, but I want to know what you noticed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm constantly publishing new Fallout videos, so if you don't want to miss my next one, be sure to subscribe. My Episode 2 of Season 2 of the Fallout Show. And it is a smorgasbord of references to the Fallout games. It tidies up some of the questions we were left with at the end of Season 1, and helps explain some of the changes to the Fallout universe that at first appeared to be contradictions when we saw them in Season 1. They released this episode on Christmas Eve. I hope you got to see it. I think they made a reference to Christmas because at one point when Lucy is giving yet another lecture to the ghoul about being kind, it refers to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens.
Just needed a little bit.
Movie. Who knows? At any rate, there's a lot jam-packed in this episode. We'll start right here. The episode starts by showing us Nick McLean destroyed. We get to see Shane height of its as they look at this land, but this place is healing. There are farmlands, there are marketplaces. The land is defended by a standing army. Residents have homes and can purify them. And we get a follow and as soon as this NCR soldier starts marching down the street.
Controlling the Mojave which makes your wind brand up to the winter.
Characters, the NPCs, who walk around New Vegas, Camp McCarran, and other places in the Mojave will have random little bits of dialogue that they speak as they walk around.
When I got this time, I was hoping to do more gambling.
Each NPC will have a faction-appropriate list of things that they will say. Brotherhood soldiers will say one thing, NCR soldiers will say another thing. The thing is, in Fallout New Vegas, this list is really short. So if you spend a lot of time walking around the strip, walking around NCR camps, you're going to hear a lot of the exact same snippets of dialogue over and over and over again. And one of the things we hear NCR soldiers say all the time walking around in Fallout New Vegas is patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. It's an easy wish for it to be a win. Patrolling the Mojave makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
So Fallout New Vegas here, I'll also explain this moment into the plot. We now know that this soldier has walked all the way to Shady Sands from NCR territory into the Mojave. And the reason he's repeating the same phrase over and over again is because he has house's mind-controlled chips implanted in his neck. And when Maximus's phone reveals what he's told in his heart, we see that it's a Mark 28 tactical nuclear warhead. These are from Fallout 4. During the events of Fallout 4, there's a really important quest if we're siding with the Brotherhood of Steel, where we get sent to the Sentinel site in the glowing sea to retrieve a stockpile of pre-war America's Mark 28 tactical nuclear warheads. These are medium-yield nuclear bombs designed to attack strategic targets. They are much more powerful than a mini-nuke launched by a fat-end launcher, but not quite as powerful as some of the larger nuclear bombs that devastated America during the Great War. They're smaller than the one that didn't detonate in the middle of Megaton, for example. The reason the Brotherhood and Fallout 4 sends us here is because we need to find armaments for limited crime. If we fully repair limited crime during the events of Fallout 4, it's these very same Mark 28s that he casually tosses around the Commonwealth on his way to attack the Institute. We don't know how Hank McClane got his hands on one of these, but apparently only one of these was necessary to completely destroy Shady Sands. He rigged it to explode the Pip-Boy, and we get to see Shady Sands go up in smoke. The scene then cuts to a shotgun, a much younger Hank McClane. And the de-aging they did in this scene, in my opinion, is much better than the de-aging they did at the end of Season 1. Now, he is a bit older in this scene than he was at the end of Season 1. Still, this de-aging is pretty believable. The detonation is successful, and Hank sits down to read The Wisdom of Willows with Lucy. There's just something about seeing Hank's callousness over the whole thing that really hit home to me just how evil Hank always has been. But the story implications of this are pretty interesting because it means that in order for Hank to do this, he left Vault 33 after thinking a plague there, discovered the NCR, and discovered that Lucy was there, then traveled all the way to the Mojave Wasteland.
阴影丘教堂，我还真没发现过这地方。我靠，这地方我从来没有来过，不知道为什么会错过这里。难道之前我也不知道为什么？哎呦，我靠，吓我一跳！这是鬼！什么声音？啊？啊？ 一群做祷告的人，其中有2个变成了神。水已经变成红色。这边有烧毁的水。嗯。我靠！我们现在知道真相，再听他再这么说，可就真有点搞笑。这么和他走，让我有点想起 EDE 了。只可惜这玩意在胡说八道。这地方之前没解 ，what bug 那肯定是。
Gotta watch out for that rust. Does a number on your lungs.
Brain control chips somehow got his hands on this Mark 28 nuclear bomb and rigged the entire scene to unfold the way that it did after he rescued Norm and Lucy. That's a whole lot of travel for Hank to have done. Back to the present, we find Hank McClane fulfilling his promise to whomever he was talking to over the microphone in the last episode. He heads into the cryogenic biorepository of this facility. Here he retrieves some mice from the livestock section so that he can experiment on them with House's mind control chips. See him just living his best life. I mean, I hate him now after everything we learned in season 1, after how this episode started, which makes it frustrating to see him having so much fun just scooting around this Vault-Tec facility in a little golf cart, enjoying the whole thing to himself while playing with a yo-yo. And I love the tiny little Rob code terminal that they put in this little lab rat's cage. He's trying to mind control the
俩特效还卡上，但是这其实正好。
Vault-Tec really spared no expense with this experiment, but things get really interesting when he arrives at the premium Elite Plus section of the vault, where people are stored. At first, we might be tempted to think that this may be where some of the top executives at Vault-Tec were kept frozen after the Great War, leading one to think that maybe we'll find the ghoul's wife and child here. But that wasn't its purpose at all. This section of the Vault-Tec facility was reserved for high-paying Vault-Tec customers. We learned from this exchange that some people, before the bombs dropped, paid Vault-Tec a premium price to be stored in this facility in the event of a nuclear holocaust. He defrosts one of these people to experiment on because he wasn't finding much success with the mice. But it should come as no surprise that he still isn't successful. This guy ends up exactly the same way. We learned that this man paid for himself to be cryogenically frozen, but not his family.
I noticed on your file that you had family, but you only bought a ticket for one. It was expensive.
And then Hank gives him a big lecture about how family is the cornerstone of civilization.
Family is the first building block of civilization. You can't put it right on family, Steve.
Potentially revealing a bit more about his character, why he still is trying to convince Lucy that he's right, and yet at the same time, he's responsible for shattering his own family. He killed his wife, Rose McLean, all for the sake of Valentine, or whoever he's really working for. So Hank is the last man who can sit here and lecture anyone about family. Perhaps my favorite part of this episode is the extensive Brotherhood storytelling.
Do I hear some?
As we expected from the events of Season 1, by now, Maximus is a fully fledged Brotherhood of Steel knight. He's still very this suit of power armor. It still has the Yaoguai mark to it, which means that the Brotherhood retrieved it from the sands outside of Vault 4. Because it's where the last saw it. Success. Morals and intentions are confirmed for where we get to his father his father says that Maximus is trying to live up to. After waking up at the end of Season 1 with Lucy gone, he feels like Lucy abandoned him. And all,
Do I hear
met that girl?
You left.
And maybe she's still out there.
Good to hear.
and so he's throwing himself back into the Brotherhood, trying to fulfill the high ambitions that his father set for him. And now he knows what it is, and how the Brotherhood could be a force for good, which is why when Quintus said this, sequence here down to every detail on the next locking it in place. It was on the ground, Brotherhood scribes power up a pre-war generator and a fusion core. On the airship, they activate the key that Maximus just retrieved. And then out of the sands, these turbines appear. When we saw these in the trailer, people thought that they were wind turbines used to generate energy. But that's not what they are at all. Players of Fallout New Vegas will understand exactly what this is. Turbines begin spinning and start picking up the steam in the area after the which has been buried beneath the sand for 200 years. This is none other than the Turkish camouflage system that we learned about exploring the Hidden Valley bunker during the events of Fallout New Vegas. I talked about how the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood survived after they were beat in Sunburst. Described Maximus how the survivors had dropped into the Hidden Valley bunker, where they made a new home for the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel. But one of the reasons their new home has remained undetected by the NCR this entire time is because of the German chemical system that was installed by the US military before the bomb struck.
That is his base's defensive system. Its role is camouflage and masks all entry and exit from the bunker.
This system periodically picks up sandstorms in the region, completely obscuring visibility, turning their bunkers into used by America to hide this from the engineers attacks. Mark used it to hide from the ER. What we see Quintus's Brotherhood activating here. This same pre-war camouflage system has been obscuring Area 51. Inside Area 51, the snow makes the Zetans. Fallout fans know full well aliens are real in the Fallout universe. They've been to Earth before many times, and they're called the Zetans, so it shouldn't come as any surprise for us that inside Area 51, we find an alien spacecraft covered in a sheet, and even an alien body preserved in a fridge. The Brotherhood doesn't seem to care about it. They're more excited about the fact that the fridge is actually cold. We see scribes uncovering a wealth of technology here, including alien technology. That's an alien shock robot this scribe is examining, but a bunch of other stuff as well. This, I think, is a prototype of the Pip-Boy that we saw in the intro cutscene to Fallout 4. For some reason, Area 51 had some of the Chinese army here. You also find the Declaration of Independence, which bothers me, because this shouldn't be here. The Declaration of Independence appears during the events of Fallout 3. There's an entire quest dedicated to retrieving the Declaration of Independence for Abraham Washington at Rivet City. Why is it here after the events of Fallout 3 in Area 51, which we just learned has been buried under sand for 200 years? Either that's a goof, or this isn't the real Declaration of Independence. What's that in the background? That's the Ark of the freaking Covenant! Why does America have the Ark of the Covenant? There's all sorts of antiquities stored here, as well as high technology like a cryolator. We can readily see why Quintus wants to turn Area 51 into the Brotherhood's new home. But then we begin to see that some of the things that made Maximus uncomfortable with the Brotherhood at the end of Season 1 are still here, and they still make him uncomfortable. Some Brotherhood Knights are being boneheads and they're playing hacky sack with a plasma grenade. As soon as the Brotherhood uncovers a beautiful, pristine pre-war Chrysalis, they take it outside and blow it up because they're just meatheads. And then we get to the meat of the Brotherhood plot. Now that Quintus has his hands on Core Fusion, he wants to take control of the Brotherhood. And so he's called a meeting with some of the heads of some of the other Brotherhood chapters in the region. He doesn't call all of them, but he meets with the leaders of the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, and Coronado chapters of the Brotherhood. 3 chapters that until now we have heard nothing about. This is the first time they're ever mentioned in Fallout lore. Now there are several other chapters that they didn't call to this meeting that we do know about. The Mojave chapter, what happened to them? The bunkers at San Francisco and the Hub, what happened to them? Lost Hills, the original Brotherhood bunker, what happened to it? We don't hear anything about them. Quintus calls this meeting and purposefully excludes the Commonwealth, Arthur Maxon's chapter of the Brotherhood, the East Coast chapter. He excludes them on purpose because at this point, the Commonwealth chapter is the most powerful Brotherhood chapter, and Quintus doesn't want to share power with them. He's afraid that if he would have just handed Cold Fusion over to the Commonwealth, that the Commonwealth chapter would have ordered it for themselves and wouldn't have shared with the other chapters. Initially, the leaders of the other chapters are hesitant to go along with his theory because already Quintus has broken the chains that bind.
You called for this meeting. You didn't tell the Commonwealth.
Commonwealth, Peter. That's an old principle that's been around since the Brotherhood was founded. It basically means that you have to obey a superior officer.
He's already in violation of the Brotherhood Codex by calling this meeting and excluding the Commonwealth chapter. But one by one, they get on board when Quintus demonstrates that he has tapped into a limitless power source. He shows off a bank of fusion cores, a rare power source at this point in the Wasteland's history, and his chapter just used cold fusion to refuel all of these fusion cores. And it looks like unlimited power is worth breaking the Brotherhood Codex.
The Codex does say that violence against the fellow brother is forbidden. But I suppose the Codex is open to interpretation.
This meeting is also important because it confirms the autonomy that many of these chapters have. When season 1 aired, people were thrown off by the religiosity that was on display with Quintus's chapter of the Brotherhood, and how out of step it was with the Brotherhood as it was displayed in all of the Fallout games. Even in the original Fallout 1, sure, the Brotherhood wore medieval trappings, long robes and calling each other scribes and knights, but they didn't use a lot of religious language. And they addressed that in this round table.
The chapters are grown apart. Mine isn't going for any of this religious shit.
Each of these chapters have their own culture, their own way of doing things, which helps explain why all of the chapters depicted in the games and the show are so different from each other. It also shows us why Quintus wanted to unite them. He thinks that their differences make them weaker as an organization. He wants to unite them and lead them in a civil war against the Commonwealth. Maximus sees a brawl taking place between a couple of Brotherhood knights. More meatheads just throwing testosterone at each other. What purpose does this serve? In disgust, he walks away, but he's confronted by a soldier from another chapter. This soldier challenges him to a fight outside of power armor, and with Quintus's eye on him, Maximus can't refuse. At first, things start to go bad for Maximus, but we already know, thanks to the events of Season 1, that Maximus has high endurance. He can take a beating. He is also a pugilist, and he's scrappy in a fight. The soldier pulls out a knife, trying to kill Maximus in this friendly brawl. Time and time again, we see Maximus looking to Quintus, waiting for Quintus to put a stop to this nonsense. Quintus does nothing but watch. And it's here, I think, that Maximus realizes that Quintus is all bluster. For all this talk about Maximus being a son to him, wanting to heal the wasteland, he's realizing that Quintus will say what he thinks his audience wants to hear. He needs Maximus. He knows Maximus wants to make the world a better place, and so he tells Maximus that the Brotherhood will make the world a better place. He knows Maximus misses his father, and so he puts himself forward as a fatherly figure. He's manipulating Maximus. And right now, his audience wants to see a show. And so he says nothing. Throughout this entire scene, Maximus's friend Dane serves as his conscience, reminding him about Lucy, reminding him about the good people in the wasteland, the good people outside of the Brotherhood, reminding him what he really wanted when he was fresh from the wasteland before their victory at the Griffith Observatory. I think what we've seen in this episode is that Maximus still has plenty of doubt in the Brotherhood, at least in Quintus's chapter of the Brotherhood, which may lead him to make some very interesting decisions later on in this series. This segment ends with a surprise arrival. An envoy from the Commonwealth chapter of the Brotherhood arrives. There were some people who saw this character in the trailer, and due to the coat that he wore and its resemblance to the coat that Arthur Maxson wears, feared that he was Arthur Maxson. But he's not. He's a completely new character.
Paladin Harkness, liaison from the Commonwealth.
He's Paladin Harkness. Now, Harkness is a name that we recognize, but it doesn't make any sense. During the events of Fallout 3, we discover a synth who had escaped from the Institute and had his mind wiped by the railroad, and he was going by the name Harkness. He was a guard at Rivet City, and he didn't know that he was a synth. The Lone Wanderer could have told him that he was really a synth, or not, so we don't know if this Harkness ever learned his true identity. But the Commonwealth chapter of the Brotherhood did originate in the capital wasteland where the events of Fallout 3 took place, so it's not a huge stretch of the imagination to think that Harkness from Rivet City might have joined Lion's chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, which then became Arthur Maxson's chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, and then accompanied them on the Pridman to the Commonwealth, and then for some reason came all the way out here, and now stands before all of these guys. Though this Harkness doesn't look anything like the Harkness from Fallout 3. Or he could be a completely different person who has the same name. People have been known to share names before. So at the moment, I don't think we can confidently conclude that this man is a Sith and that he's the same Harkness from Fallout 3. All we know is that he's Paladin Harkness, and he's an envoy from the Commonwealth chapter of the Brotherhood, and about the civil war that they're planning.
I understand we're discussing a civil war. I must not have gotten my invitation.
And yet here you are. Welcome.
When the video would be dissected the trailers that had been released for season 2, viewers in the comments pointed out that one of the Brotherhood flags here at Area 51 looked like it might have the Minuteman symbol on it. We only saw that flag flying when the vertibird was landing, and so at the time I thought that it was quite possible that it might indeed be the Minuteman logo, because on the flag we see 2 sabers crossed on a blue field. And the Minuteman logo is a musket and a lightning bolt crossed on a little field. It's a very similar symbol. However, after everything we've learned in this episode, I don't think this has anything to do with the Minutemen. We now know that all of the chapters represented here came from outside of the Commonwealth. They came from the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Coronado, not the Commonwealth. And each of those chapters had their own flags. That is likely what we're seeing, one of those other chapters' flags. So, we now need some answers. What's the canonical ending to Fallout 4? Clearly the Commonwealth Brotherhood is still alive, so the Institute and Railroad endings could not have happened. But which ending did? The Brotherhood or the Minuteman ending? We still don't know. And I love this little exchange between Harkness and Maximus, because this fight was clearly something that Maximus disapproved of from the very beginning. It's barbaric, it serves no purpose. The only reason he was fighting was because he was forced to fight. But then Harkness comes in and takes a look at Maximus standing over the body of the man he just defeated. You can see Harkness going, okay, tough guy, look at you. Wonderful little exchange. The most frustrating part of this episode for me was watching Lucy and the Ghoul, because we're learning that Lucy hasn't learned much. We went through all of season 1 watching Lucy slowly but surely learn that she's gonna have to adapt her behavior. She's gonna have to adapt what she was taught to believe in the vaults in order to survive in this wasteland. But so far in season 2, she's just not learned her lesson. In the last episode, she was purposefully taking non-lethal hits. And in this episode, she hears somebody crying for help from a nearby hospital. The Ghoul, of course, keeps unlocking, but she's got to go and help them, which forces the Ghoul to deviate from his path and race in after her. They find a woman dressed in a Roman tunic. The Ghoul immediately knows who this is.
Tunic. Go from far west, don't you?
And you know who this is too. This is likely a slave woman from Caesar's Legion. The Legion from Fallen New Vegas is, or maybe was, an empire comprised of conquered tribes that is essentially a glorified raider gang. They produce nothing of value themselves. Instead, their primary commodity is slaves. They don't allow women to be part of their society. Any women they find, they enslave and use. And the Ghoul knows this. He knows they came from the east. That's why he said, you're awful far west. He's been to the Mojave Wasteland before. He's toyed with the NCR and with Caesar's Legion, and he knows the Legion is just another raider gang. But Lucy doesn't know that. And instead of listening to the Ghoul, who might, be able to educate her on something that she doesn't really know about yet, she offers this person her last stim pack.
I got my stick left.
That would be a profound misallocation.
We'll find someone else wounded over here. Someone else who was also from Caesar's Legion. The Ghoul slits his throat, which is pretty brutal. But for anyone who has played Fallout New Vegas, we kinda get it, because we know what the Legion is all about. My only criticism of the Ghoul here is, even though this was a man, and therefore likely a legionary, he wasn't dressed like one. He was dressed like a slave. And while slaves can be indoctrinated, he didn't even bother to talk to the guy first. Lucy, of course, is horrified, but instead of talking to people, trying to figure out why he's acting this way towards these two individuals in particular, instead of asking him why they're dressed in Roman tunics to begin with, she gets up on her shoulders and starts lecturing him. One of the really cool bits here is that the Ghoul realizes that Rad Scorpion is nearby because he tastes the Rad Scorpion's poison in the flesh of the man that he just killed after he took a bite of him, because, the Ghoul has the cannibal perk. And the smaller Rad Scorpions act a lot like the xenomorph hatchlings from the Alien franchise. They went straight for the face. The Ghoul and Lucy, of course, survived the tussle, but the Ghoul got injured. However, Lucy only has one stim pack left. She has to choose between stim packing this woman in the toga or giving it to the ghoul. And she chooses to give it to the stranger instead of to her friend. Now, there is some logic behind her choice here.
She'll die without it. You won't. When I get her home, I'll come back for you.
He says she'll come back for him, but there's just so much more decision making in that moment. She doesn't know who this woman is. She could be a raider. She could be a loyal member of the Legion. And Lucy has no idea what the Legion is because she hasn't bothered to let the ghoul explain it to her. She says she wants to help this woman get back home. She has no idea where this woman's home is or how long that journey would take. So how long is she going to let the ghoul just lie here in agony before she comes back to resuscitate him with a stim pack? And she leaves. She leaves the ghoul behind and goes off with this woman. And as she does, the ghoul quips at her, "Oh, Lord," which is what she said to him during season 1. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In this scene, she's not doing unto the ghoul as she would have him do unto her. He's using her own words against her, possibly predicting some terrible fate that awaits Lucy because of this choice. But more than that, they're supposed to be friends at this point. They're supposed to be able to trust each other. They've been working as a team up until this point, trusting each other at Novak to get past the Great Cons. And leaving your friends behind, poisoned by a rad scorpion sting, isn't a very trustworthy thing to do. This entire scene bothers me. It seems ridiculous, out of character for Lucy, and it seems like Lucy just hasn't learned her lesson, as she could have by now. And that's it for the ghoul. We don't know what happens to him at the end of this episode. Instead, Lucy walks off with this she's a Legion slave, in which case she is some and yet she's still going back to them. And of course, the Legion show up. And what do? They surround Lucy. So follow now, I guess. What happens to women when the Legion gets their hands on them?
I realize we all have our cultural differences, but just so you know, I am nice.
So this is not good, and it's all your fault, Lucy. Why didn't you listen to the ghoul? I'm so frustrated. So frustrated. During the pan out for the episode, we get the impression that the Legion's home is no longer on top of Fortification Hill, but is instead in a ballpark, an arena of some sort. I didn't get the name. I don't know which arena this is. But in the middle of the field, we find the Legion's tents all staked out, and they still harbor a grudge against the NCR. We find NCR signs with gladiuses stabbed through them. NCR soldiers crucified, with signs above them saying, "Caesar says hi." And we learned that Cooper Howard, before the bombs dropped, starred in a film called Revenge of Brutus, a period film. There was a Halloween costume shop outside the arena selling outfits from the film. Perhaps that's where some of these legionaries got their costumes. And this is actually a really interesting tie-in to the Become a Bounty Hunter creation that was recently released for Fallout 4. I did a video on that, and during the story of that creation, we learned that the Regulators got their dusters from a Halloween costume shop. They even say that they saw Cooper Howard's face on a poster in the shop. They said that same scene here, but instead of cowboys, it's with Romans. Seeing the Legion inside this chamber, a lot of actions. What happened to their headquarters? Is this everything? Is this all that's left of the Legion? It used to be an empire. Can it now all fit inside one small stadium? Can't wait for the show to come out. And finally, this episode continues with Norm's story. We don't learn anything about Vaults 33 or 32 in this episode, but Norm in Vault 31 has imprisoned Bud Askins in a bucket. Bud is no longer calling the shot. He's no longer in control. Norm is in control, and he takes charge of the people from Vault 31 that he has defrosted. Of course, they're all confused. They weren't supposed to be released all at once like this, and they know it. They were supposed to be released slowly over time. When they discover that Bud is no longer in charge and that they've got to figure out their own way out of here, they start to panic. But it's when Norm asserts himself and quickly comes up with a story that the Vault 31 residents begin to cooperate. He tells them that he is the result of Bud Askin's experiment. He is the product of 200 years of genetic engineering.
Part of a race of super managers. All of you have been selected into my staff.
And having someone to tell them what to do calms them down a little bit. He tells them that finding a way out of this vault is part of the experiment. It's a test, you see, and Vault-Tec wants them to pass the test. They find a ventilation shaft and a ladder inside, and using teamwork, Norm and the residents of Vault 31 escape the vault. Now, all of these people were released just a few moments ago. Their most recent memories before the bombs dropped. So when they see this wasteland, they're pretty bummed out. This is one of their first time outside of the vault. It's his first time feeling wind on his skin, and it's beautiful. Which is such a wonderful touch. I can't wait to see how Norm grows this season. There were so many wonderful little things in this episode, from the graffiti in the hospital that was straight out of Fallout New Vegas, to the rocket toys that are right out of Fallout 4. Everything looks like it's just pulled straight from the games. I walk away 2 episodes down in Season 2, really impressed and really excited to see what's coming next. My only disappointment so far is the evolution of Lucy's character. Really, I thought by the end of Season 1, she had made more progress than she did. But maybe I'm underestimating the Vault-Tec brainwashing that she spent her entire life subjected to. Maybe I'm expecting too much from her. I'm just really sad to see how she let the ghoul like that. Those are my thoughts on episode 2 of Season 2. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you gotta say. Is there anything you noticed that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. I'm constantly publishing new Fallout videos, so if you don't want to miss my next one, be sure to subscribe.
The fuck！ 我就上去上个厕所，回来被他们狂喷，我靠！什么鬼？服了，差点被喷死了。哎，我想重新玩新维加斯了。看得我心痒。知道他们在哪。 这我还真不确定在哪。
We three, we're all alone, living in a memory. My echo, my
这本
shadow,
是吃鬼的地盘。
and me. We three, we're not a crowd. We're not even company. My echo, my shadow, and me. What good is the moonlight, the silvery moonlight that shines above? I walk with my shadow, I talk with my echo, but where is the one I love? We three will wait for you, even till eternity. My echo, my shadow.
Hit harder than you.
炸死你！
We're all alone.
Just one stop.
Seem like we're living in a memory. That's my echo,
That's a fake coffee shop. That's a real pizza
my
place.
shadow,
If the pictures are accurate,
and me.
this looks like a home run pizza place. And they have Italian ice. Candy store with flashing
We
lights
three.
that definitely working. Then we have a bowl
We
plate
ain't no
with
crowd.
coffee, but no flashing lights. It's empty.
That
Even though
is-
it's probably better for you. Bagels.
We ain't eating
those
company.
Happy socks. They're Swedish. Even more
That's
Swedish.
my
If you
echo.
want to look really cool, you can get these flashy Doc Martens, but
My
they're
shadow.
pink. They are gonna be beat
And me.
forever if you wear the buttercream special. All this looks like
You
some
know, I've been
buttercream
wondering,
is-
what good is the moonlight?
Martha's
That silvery moonlight that shines
They're everywhere in New
way,
York.
way up.
They're great Vietnamese. Somewhere. Is it upstairs? Downstairs is the food hall. Might be the same place. Awesome. We can get some falafel, chicken and waffles. Now, if you stay on Bedford Avenue, this just doesn't stop. It's all stores. And there's like 15 coffee shops. J.P. Morgan Wealth Management, where they manage their wealth with fees collected from your wealth, which they claim is still in there. Here we got what looks like a pretty big outdoor restaurant, the Gran Torino Cafe, outdoor dining, and this garage is like part of the restaurant as well. But it's interesting how the neighborhood calms down just one block west of where the train is. I mean, this is what we've got now. Nothing wrong with it.
Literally.
You still got your
But,
place and
well,
boutiques across the street.
do what
And
you
that
gotta
building is a
do,
Warby
friends.
Parker. You're not allowed to wear
Here's
other
when I
glasses
get
if
low,
you're
I
in
get
the city.
high.
And they sponsored a video of mine last year, so only got good things to say. Then we got pricey footwear, pricey furniture, a little cafe, and then we have hipster kids looking at the land right there. You're making such a statement. Like, but I couldn't talk about it. It's really cool. There's a Korean place, and there's an Asian now. Another amazing Swedish accomplishment. Besides that annoying, I can get furniture. That always hurts my fingers. We're cool people. As we continue to head west, you're gonna see more stuff like the old music following and some of these like newer buildings, Christmas tree dealers. I didn't realize this, but these are actually great dealers. If you try to go Whole Foods into the Amazon tree, they're all the exact same way. They're all $70, and they won't cost. But I went to a little place like this to get a picture. Nice small Sharpie tree. But then we found these spots. Try this. These are the only
My
ones
man
around here.
walked
This
out,
is
now
like
you know that ain't right. Well, he better watch out. If I meet him tonight, I said when I get low, oh, I get high. All this hard luck in this town has found
right
me.
there, down there.
Nobody knows how trouble goes round
Crazy.
and
Just look at how
round
close
me.
it is. You can make it by
Oh,
swimming.
alone
That
with
could
no
be
one to pet
dangerous
me.
though. So
But
probably
old
don't want
rockin'
to try
chair
it.
ain't never
Night
gonna
is
get me,
really
but
has
when
to
I
look like
get low,
something cool.
oh,
So also right
I
to the
get
other
high.
inside here because you know we're really exactly right down there. So this part you're gonna want to try these oddly shaped, uncomfortable benches. Some areas like these benches they travel. I know that you like it. It's really quick. Unless you look at one of these buildings, you can afford that. This doesn't really make any sense. You should just take the subway. You can take your dog for a walk out here. Look at that white beast off the leash. Don't worry, he's never bitten anybody before it happened to you. That's what they all say. Unfortunately, there's not really much else going on at this little park. There's like these little bridges that bring you out, places to kind of sit. So that's what you'll be doing if you're here. Police presence looking a little light. Get it? It's a light. Oh, it's a horrible joke. Look at this, right over there's the park. You can kind of walk down this little lane, and that warehouse-looking thing over there, that is our apartment building. You can get candy on the corner, more pizza, and look at this, directly across the street, we have Trader Joe's. And because their prices are so low, you can afford to pay a little bit more.
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you.
There was more of like a lounge over
I'm bound away
No.
across the wide Missouri.
So we got a few places, right?
Missouri. She's a mighty river.
And it's looks like it will transform your calf muscles into what you need to succeed as an Instagram influencer. Squat rack, everything device,
When
weight
she
up to 50.
rolls down, her topsail shivers.
This is a marvelous activity. Square feet. This has to be like 4,000 square feet of outdoor space.
Across the wide Missouri. Farewell, my dear. I'm bound to leave.
This is like the best president's lounge ever. What
辐射感染者。别给我轰死！
Okay, whoever's single voice as low as his? No, trust me. I can live with that.
A missionary advertised with neon signs. To tell the native population that civilization is dying. That civilization is a thing for you.
So bongo, 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 I don't wanna leave the Congo. No, 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 no. Bingo, bango, bongo, I'm so happy in the jungle, I refuse to go. Don't want no bright lights, false teeth, doorbells, landlords, I make it clear.
That no matter how they coax him,
I'll stay right here. I look through a
自被
magazine
黑
the
火药
missionary's
水。
wife concealed.
magazine, what happens?
I see how people who are civilized bung you with automobiles.
You know you can get hurt that way, Daniel?
At the movies they have got to pay many coconuts to see.
What do they see, Johnny?
Uncivilized pictures that the newsreel takes of me.
So, bongo, 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 he don't wanna leave the Congo, no, 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 no. Bingo, bango, bongo, he's so happy in the jungle, he refused to go.
Don't want no penthouse, bathtub, streetcars, taxis, noise in my ear.
So, no matter how they coax him,
I'll stay right here. Express.
and though it's smoking,
When they've got 2 weeks vacation, they hurry to vacation ground.
What do they say, darling?
They swim and they fish, but that's what I do all year round.
so, bongo, 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 I don't wanna leave the Congo, no, 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 no. Bingo, bango, bongo, I'm so happy in the jungle, I refuse to go.
Don't want no jailhouse,
Shotgun,
fish hooks.
golf club,
I got my spear.
so no matter how they coax him,
I'll stay right here.
they have things like the atom bomb.
So I think I'll stay where I am.
Civilization, I'll stay right here.
I just love that someone, somewhere, decided the phrase bingle, bangle, bungle was worth using as a lyric. I hope it makes you smile, too.
Now once there was a little old man with a funny crooked nose. He lived down in the log hut and we called him Old Man Mose. One dark and dreary morning, I knocked upon his door. Well, I didn't hear a single sound and I ain't gonna do it no more. 'Cause I believe, yes I believe, I do believe that old man Moses dead. Whoa, I believe, I sure believe, yes I believe that old man Moses dead. He kicked the bucket, yeah man, bucket. He kicked the bucket and old man Moses dead. Oh, bucket. He kicked the bucket and old man Moses dead. I went round to a window and I peeked in through a crack. Inside there was that little old man lying flat upon his back. And I knew he wasn't sleeping cause his hands hung to the floor. Well, I didn't hear a single sound and I ain't gonna do it no more. 'Cause I found out, yes I found out, I sure found out that old man Moses dead. I found out, yeah I found out that old man Moses dead. He kicked the bucket, yeah.
好多地块。
Just a friendly reminder to look after your neighbors, everyone. We're all in this together, after all.
山
I've
中
heard
组
some of you dwellers tickling the ivories, but can you keep up with Pigfoot Pete? Here's Freddie Slack and LMA Morse.
So we got ourselves a decent bit of pretty here too. So this is a interior facing
Way out in Kansas
for the rest
City,
of the
all
building.
want to
You can see the lower courtyard
They
down
don't
here.
have a
This
guy
is
they call
really
Bigfoot
extensive.
Pete.
Look, it
He
fits a
plays
grill and a bike.
piano by
Definitely a
ear.
table and chairs for
And
you.
he'll
No
play
problem
all
out here, that's
type
for
of
sure.
big
We're
speed
also
and
looking at
beer.
these
He's
high
murder
cell phone
on
towers
the
in this old double
He's the
warehouse.
guy who
Look
brought
at
the
that. I got
boogie
full
woogie up
5G
to
radio
speed.
and
He's
look at
got
how
a
cute my
cannon
daughter looks in
in
her
his
dress
left
outfit.
hand
Look, if you
and
don't
a
want to subscribe for
rifle
me,
in his right. He's just a double
消
way
防
on ski.
看
And his shoes be 8 feet to you at a frightening rate.
这下真成模拟城市了，我靠！这下真成 Sim City 模拟城市。
Until you beat to your socks forever boogie. It's part of the plan. You find a Bigfoot beat the boogie woogie man.
Definitely bigger than it is. Single person roof, it's about 12 by 10 and a half. 5G radiation unit here as well. Closets really extensive. Actually, plus we got like things up here. I have those couple of plays. Dude.
Paid for. This is membership called Beyond the Sound of Darkness through the streams of power of
地球光休息室。
U.S. politicians, accomplished scientists and specialists, titans of industry. These people weren't elected by the public. These people were picked, inducted into an exclusive secret membership.
He's got a cannon
To
in
take
his
over
left
control of
hand
the
and a
United States
rifle
in the
in
event
his right.
of
He's
an
just a double barrel
apocalypse.
ski.
Today,
And his
the
shoes
existence of the
beat to you
Enclave
at a
was
frightening
just
rate.
but there
He's
were
just a
two
solid
people
whiz.
who were
I'll tell you who it is. He's
together.
Bigfoot Pete, the boogie woogie's elite. His hands are just big as Virginia hands. And when they go to work, they're like battering rams. And when he plays all
住
the
宅
box,
区房屋
the joint rocks. Until you beat to your socks forever boogie. It's part of the plan. You find a Bigfoot beat the boogie woogie man. They call him
Secretary
Bigfoot,
of Agriculture,
the boogie
Thomas
woogie
is
man.
taking a huge amount of government money and funneling it towards construction
零售店
of a
铺
bunker beneath the White Spring
or
Hotel
Vega。
in Appalachia. He had an informant named T, giving him information about how Eckhart was stalking Parker with things that didn't make sense for a mere survival shelter. Military-grade robots, high-tech energy weapons, even biological weapons. But his investigations into the Enclave did not go unnoticed. The Department of Defense warned him and told him to back off. He and his family were threatened. To a journalist named Quinn Carter at the Charleston Herald, where he told the world as much as he knew about the Enclave without mentioning the name. He abdicated his senatorship and joined the Free States, a move that many people thought was treasonous. Then he disappeared. Many thought that he and his daughter retreated to a private bunker because his daughter Judy, a student at Tech University, disappeared about the same time. The Enclave was furious. They used the power of their members in the federal government to put pressure on the Charleston Herald to force Queen Carter to reveal the the congressional bunker, we even find evidence that the Enclave somehow got a hold of Quinn Carter, the reporter, and interrogated her about Blackwell. In their interrogation logs of her, they write that they're having a hard time finding her, presumably after interrogating her, they decided they wanted to imprison her, and then lost her. She never gave up the location of Samuel Blackwell and disappeared that day. And so the Enclave stopped pursuing her. After all, at this time, the Enclave had one lesson to use. The bombs were October 23, 2077. Members of the Enclave got an early notification that President sought shelter on the Poseidon oil rig off the coast of San Francisco. The Vice President was notified, and no one knows what happened to him. A few members of the President's cabinet were removed from the Enclave's list. They were never given an early notification. The Speaker of the House, the Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Commerce, but many others moved to the Congressional Bunker. Widespread, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of the Interior, and the Secretary of Agriculture, Thomas Eckert. But the Congressional Bunker was designed not just for members of this secret cabal of the Enclave, it was designed for members of Congress as well.
Wasteland Exchange. 这是76。
I know things might seem bad, but don't give up. Despite what the ink spots say, it's not all over but the crying. Heck, keep going and cry while you do it. Multitask.
So when members of the U.S. government arrived, who were not part of the Enclave, well, the Enclave had to deal with them.
It's
all over, but the crying.
and nobody's crying but me. Friends all over know I'm trying to forget about how much I care for you.
This first batch here is already processing their review.
It's all over, but the dreaming. Poor little dream
Dropped in 2077.
that keep trying
They elected members of Congress who were not members of the Enclave. We have no reason to suspect that this was an isolated one-off event. These Enclave officers were following orders, and the person in charge of the Enclave was the President of the United States. He was leading the Enclave from the Poseidon Energy oil rig at this point in time. All other members of the Enclave had to follow his orders, including high-ranking members of his cabinet. We learned at some point before the bombs dropped, the Secretary of Agriculture, Thomas Eckert, wanted to launch a preemptive nuclear strike against China, but this was flat out rejected by his superior.
闹鬼豪宅。
All members of the U.S. government who were not members of the Enclave was the president who was leading the Enclave out of the presidential oil rig off the coast of San Francisco. In this first audio recording, we learned something interesting about how the Enclave was planning to rewrite history. The Enclave was using a unique dating system, and Otis uses this unique dating system. Everybody makes.
And now, here are the very prolific Andrews sisters with Straighten Up and Fly Right.
The same dating system is used with many meeting transcriptions and notes that you find all over the Congressional Bunker. And while at first it was confusing, it didn't make sense. As we understand And
buzzer took a
as
monkey
far as
for a
the
ride in
enclave
the
was
air.
concerned,
The monkey
the
thought
nuclear
that everything was
apocalypse
on
of
the square.
2077
The buzzer
was
tried to throw
ushering
the
in
monkey
a
off of
new
his back,
world.
but the
A new
monkey grabbed his
world
neck and said, "Now listen,
ruled by
Jack.
the Omnipotent.
Straighten
Much
up
in the
and
same
fly
way
right.
in our universe, we began
Straighten up and
recounting
fly
这些
right.
房子个个都太怪了，问题
Straighten
是
up and fly right.
这些房子长得太奇怪，
Down,
导致这
Papa,
地
don't
方
you
吧
blow your top.
也不是很
Ain't
好
no use
搞。
in diving.
这地方主要还是太大。
What's the use of diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. The buzzer told the monkey, you are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free. The monkey looked the buzzer right dead in the eye and said, your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay
地方
right.
有点忒大。
Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Bree-bree-doo, bree-bree-doo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The buzzer told the monkey, you are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free. The monkey looked the buzzer right dead in the eye and said, your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.
So it seems that sitting around pining for your lost love leaves you plenty of time to write songs about it. Here are the ink spots with Maybe.
You'll think of me when you are all alone. Maybe the one who is waiting for you will prove that I were near. Then maybe you'll ask me to come back again, and maybe
艺术，
I'll say
对我说大型建筑跑哪去了？我靠！
maybe you think of me when you are all alone. Maybe the one who is waiting for you will prove untrue. Then what will I do? Maybe
Maybe
set inside wishing that I were near. Then maybe you'll ask me to come back again. And maybe I'll say maybe.
避难所入口只能建12个，我靠！我有建这么多吗 ？What？ 我有建这么多
Best lesson about personal responsibility set to slide guitar that you'll
我
ever
不是
hear.
12个，只能建3个，我靠！
By Blind Willie
居
Johnson.
然只能建3个避难所入口，这就稍微有点离谱。这就有点离谱。每一种只能建3个 ，OK， 我明白了。每一种大的只能建3个，当然可以建这种。
Nobody follow but mine. Oh Lord, nobody follow but mine. I don't need my tongue blind. Have a Bible of my own, burning my tongue blind. Oh, mother, she taught me how to read. Mother, she taught me how to read. Burning my tongue blind. Nobody follow but mine. Nobody
哎，这里面怎么来个人？
And so that she taught me how to read. So that she taught me how to read. I don't need my sublime. Nobody follow but mine.
而它有限制，它有限制就难搞，还是有数量限制。否则我直接叠个摩天大楼上去都行。真的，说实话，我可以叠个摩天大楼上去。 东维加斯里面的长啥样啊？我都忘了，我进去看一眼。 这样，我截几张图回去搭一下。你看这一毛一样，我靠，真的是一毛一样。挂了些画的墙。最大程度还原一下，这边就没啥。
Hi there, sticking around Good Springs for.
I'm sorry. What's that? It's a metaphor? Oh, you don't say.
Lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. Oh, drinking beer in a cabaret, was I having fun? Until one night she caught me right, now I'm on the run.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. Oh, I see you every night, Bing, and I'll woo you every day. I'll be your regular mama, and I'll put that gun away.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that thing down before it goes off and hurts somebody. Oh, she kicked out my windshield and she hit me over the head. She cussed and cried and said I'd lied and she wished that I was dead.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. We're three tough gals from deep down Texas way. We got no pals. They don't like the way we play. We're a rough, rootin', tootin', shootin' trio, but you ought to see my sister Cleo. She's a terror, make no error, but there ain't no laissez-faire. Here's what we tell her.
Lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down. Pistol back and mama, lay that pistol down.
Pappy made a batch of corn, the revenuers came. The draw was slow, so now they know you can't do that to Maine.
Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down.
Pistol packing mama,
Lay that pistol down. Oh, singing songs in a cabaret, was I having fun? Till one night I didn't sing right, now I'm on the run. Oh, lay that pistol down, babe, lay that pistol down.
pistol packing mama, lay that pistol
down.
Oh, pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down.
Remember, ladies, just 'cause Bing Crosby tells you to put down the gun doesn't mean you have to. Dear Hearts and Gentle People is coming up next. This one always makes me smile, thinking about the people in my life who fit that description.
I love those dear hearts and gentle people.
它这个好，这个没法玩，它这个有点忒大，我说实话。你看这个。非常长。
I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. Of those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown.
1、2、3、4，4盏灯，其实有一盏坏。上面1盏灯，这边4盏灯。这里1盏，这里1盏，这里1盏，这里1盏。
I know you've heard about the 7 wonders of the world. The Colosseum, the pyramids, the mausoleum, and listen, kids, the Tower of Pisa, Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls, and the painted desert really enthralls. But there's an aid to the ball of wonder, who plays piano in Savannah in a manner that brings down the hearts like thunder. He's got 2 left hands, and they love to roam in the place. That man's got 2 left hands, and they make their home in the bay.
避难所电力接，你可以把它藏起来吗？不行，这个东西必须要，这个东西还不能藏。表情。
Yes, that man plays Kansas style. From Savannah up to the Bronx. Cause when he plays the boogie woogie, how they all applaud. He doesn't have to look to find the lost chord. He's got 2 left hands.
我们现在最合理的还是放这。好亮。
Yes, the right amount of brains in his brainium. And when he plays, it hits you like uranium. U-235, silent jive, he's got 2 left hands. And he keeps them both in the groove. That man's got 2 left hands. And he keeps them both on the move. Oh, he can buy a new tuxedo, the kind of suit he loves. His only trouble is when he's buying gloves.
但是这次没卖桌子椅子吗？那只能找相似的了。对，就只卖了这么几个东西。把这个玩意加进去。哎，正好。 它必须要连根线，这就有点麻烦。
Just can't live without you. But if you wouldn't take me back, my darling, I would start driving nails the same as you. You can stop driving nails in your coffin.
咱们现在很容，我们现在可以把它偷偷给它这样搞过去。不像你现在可以自由碰撞以后。其实这就很好藏，看不太出来。啊，哎，这发电机怎么出来了？我靠，这可不行，会进去。不需要墙上的挂画。游戏里这些不一定有。新维加斯里这些不一定有，就换别的，什么 poker，whatever。没有就放别的。哇，这表情太像知乎那个表情了，真要命。电影有木框的。现在找东西确实方便多了，比以前。三个这边有个时钟。
another 20 minutes of solos, and it sure sounds like everyone playing would have loved doing it.
我时钟在哪里呀？Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
Life is all there,
Older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.
all my memories gather round her.
Miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home.
I hear a voice in the morning now, she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. And driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday.
Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home, take me home. Country roads, country roads, country roads, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads.
I still get goosebumps every time I hear it. You do too, don't you? Aw, I know you do. You're listening to Appalachia Radio,
还有时候
an
还是找不到
enduring
我想
source
找
of
的东西。
happiness in a sometimes unbelievable world.
找到。
Here's a song about the three people you can always rely on. Me, myself, and I. It's We Three by the Ink Spots.
We three, we're all alone, living in a memory. My echo, my shadow, and me. We three, we're not a crowd. We're not even company. My echo, my shadow, and me. What good is the moonlight, the silvery moonlight that shines above? I walk with my shadow, I talk with my echo, but where is the one I lost? We three will wait for you
my shadow and me. We three, we're all alone.
没有脏的这
Seem
种。
like we're living in a memory. That's my
没
echo,
有新的，我要脏
my
的，
shadow, and me.
没有脏的。
We three, we ain't no crowd.
这有点难吧？
Fact is, we ain't even company. That's my echo, my shadow, and me. You know, I've been wondering, what good is the
碰
moonlight?
撞了个寂寞。
That silvery moonlight that shines way, way up above. Yeah, I walk with my shadow. I talk with my echo. But where is that gal that I love? We three will wait for you, even till eternity. My echo, my shadow, and me.
好久没见 Camp 了，我靠，800年没见。
Coming up next is Mr. Sandman by the Quartets. I guess I'd wish for someone too. If I didn't have to worry about
复
radiation,
刻
disease, ticks the size of
先
my
驱
head,
者酒
scorched
吧。
beasts. You get the idea. Anyway, fun song.
Bang 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 bang. Bang 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 bang. Mr. Sandman.
Bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bum 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 bum. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover. Bum bum bum. Then tell him
避难所里有一点好的就是你在这里面建的所有东西都可以直接移到任何别的地方去，你不需要说我要移 camp， 我要把这全拆了，因为它是单独空间，只要在外面随地放下这个酒馆的外部，别人进来都是这样子，这个非常的方便，这个太方便了，一键搬家，爽歪歪，我靠。 Mr. Sandman, bring me your dream. It is that I've ever seen.
give him the word that I'm not a rover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam.
这没有这种镜子，他倒是做了，又不让我用，我的 fuck！ 啊，他也没做，哎，你倒是真偷懒，压根没做。
Yes. Bring us a dream, give him a pair of eyes with a come hither gleam. Give him a lonely heart like Pagliacci, and lots of wavy hair like Liberace. Mr. Sandman, someone to hold, would be so peachy before we're too old. So please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman, bring us.
只有这种镜子，镜子只有这种，是吧？没看到别的镜子。但是连普通的镜柜都没看到不对劲，我记得这游戏里不是有镜柜，怎么又没了？但无所谓了，就先用这个，也是可以用。你看这个游戏里，它的镜子是下面有一排破碎的镜子了。那我们就和它一样，我们也搞一堆镜子，只是稍微有点不一样，但是我想尽可能贴近，尽可能。
sure to treat him kind, because a good man is hard to find. You'll always get the other kind. Just when you think that he's your pal, you turn around and find him messing around some other gal, and then you rave.
然后是很多酒瓶、收音机，那边还有个桶是吧？这里还放了个桶。
I have to hold him to kiss him. Oh, he wasn't much on looks or culture, and he had a funny pan. As a matter of fact, he wasn't much of anything, but at least he was a man. And if he comes back to my little grass shack, I'm gonna hug him in the morning.
酒瓶有没有？
Give him plenty loving, treat him right, because a good man nowadays is hard to find. Yes, sorry, girls, they say that opportunity knocks but once. And when that once is gone, sister, it's gone forever. So, girls, if you get a man, there's just one but. Keep a smile on your face and keep your big mouth shut. I've learned my lesson now and everything's fine. And if he comes back, I'll never, never step out of line. 'Cause I know what to do when the day's through. Gonna hug him in the
巴士瓶盖汽水。 碧阳这些可能等会儿会用得到，我先放着。匹兹堡费的。没有酒瓶啊。
Don't worry, ink spots. Someone already beat you to it. Too much? Too soon? Sorry.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start.
还是蓝星瓶盖啊？ 还是蓝星瓶盖。
And that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel
那如果没有酒的话，如果没有酒装饰的话，我不如直接放个酿造台上去。像这样。不如直接这样。
I don't want to set the world on fire, honey. I love you too much. I just want to start a great big flame
陷进去。
down in your heart.
哇好。Coca-Cola.
Way down inside of me, darling, I have only one desire. And that one desire is you. And I know nobody else ain't
哎，
gonna
发酵罐怎么就一个 ？What the fuck？ 这不可能啊！
I've lost all
这也
ambition
太奇怪了。
for worldly acclaim. I just wanna be the one you love.
为什么发酵罐就一个？
I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. Believe me, I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
作为就是这种。
Next we've got, wouldn't it be nice? Now, isn't that a phrase we all say in our heads about a dozen times a
这
day?
边错。3个椅子。 不错，今天的进度就是把这前厅差不多做了一些。今天就到这，拜拜。